Logic Apps and the Visual Designer lets you configure all your connectors with login information, but that definitely isn't the best place to keep it. So you want to keep all those connection strings, passwords, usernames, keep all those secure and not keep them in your Logic app. So, and really that's one of the key, that's one of the things Key Vault's there for. So keep your secrets in Key Vault. You can access Key Vault using managed identity, and then you can just reference the particular item in Key Vault that you want when you need to pull that secret into your connector. And again, so you can connect to Key Vault directly from your applications. It's built in. Key Vault's designed so that all the different bits of Azure work with that. So, whether you're using Logic Apps, whether you're using Data Factory, whatever, just connect straight to Key Vault, pull in the secrets from there, and then you've got them protected. And finally, this is just as a bit of a wash up about some of the other things that, and some of the things that Dave was talking about just then, is that there's, I'll just show these, and then we can just talk through them a bit. But generally speaking, not everything is securable via the Azure portal. But a lot of a lot of the key to this is to understand how app registrations work, because when you understand an app registration, who's allowed to view it, what audiences, what roles they have, how that links through onto Entra ID, that kind of makes all that thing hang together. So, but again, back to the weakest link being between the keyboard and the chair. It's really good practice to make sure that you do all your changes to infrastructure as code. So anything, particularly in your production environment, make sure all the changes are going through as infrastructure as code. Don't configure all this stuff on the fly, because it can be wrong, it can be inconsistent. It's not, you're not in a known state. So please get used to using your DevOps for the security. Another thing is that a lot of connectors can kind of expose various, I don't know I'm trying to think of the word I'd use for this, but there's a lot of connectors that from a security perspective you may not want to use. But what you can do is you can use Azure policy to restrict which connectors you're actually allowed to use and actually allowed to pull into your application. So do you have any other thoughts around, or any other specific examples that you'd want to highlight, Dave, around either around policy or around what you should be doing in the portal versus not, or anything else around app registrations and Entra ID?
I mean, with Azure policy, I think it's really important to understand what that can do for you, because it is able to, for example, prevent APIs being created that don't have HTTPS, for example, in the case of APIM, or in Logic Apps, you can prevent either one connector, excuse me, or connector pairs from being connected, for being created, and therefore somebody being able to just use that Logic app to go and copy some data that is your corporate data. So I think Azure policy is really, really important. And just as we said before, using Azure AD and app registrations in order to facilitate fetching tokens or using managed identity is really important as well, because it is, I guess it's kind of externalizing that authorization to Azure AD so that you're not having to worry about it with storing secrets locally.